Hello everyone, this is Margarita with CityGal Papeterie. I wanted to share one more way that I love to use my scrap papers, and I keep them in this little bin, and then I use these clusters. This is what I make these little clusters, and I try to just use one staple, but you could also glue them together. And I use these on cards, on card fronts. I use these in junk journaling. I use these in my art journal, and sometimes I use book pages with them also. I try to make them so you can use them in either direction. But yeah, I grab a little bunch of pattern paper scraps. I make a little cluster and then I staple them together. Sometimes I do glue them. Like this one was, I think some of it was glued before I stapled it. So if you don't want to staple it, or you don't have staples, you don't have to do that. You could use glue, or you could use brads with this as well. So yeah, so these are just some examples of the little clusters that I make, and I'll make some with you today. So if you want to craft along with me, please grab some of your scraps and we can make some of these clusters right now. So you're also going to need a stapler. I like to use this little like mini stapler. I've had this since high school, but I guess it's kind of like the Tim Holtz mini attacher. But any stapler will do. Obviously you can use whatever stapler you have. And I also like to keep a pair of scissors on hand, and you want to also have like some book pages to use as some of your backgrounds. You can grab some book pages to use. And I like to kind of cut these into larger strips. So something like that. And then I will sometimes also trim off the outside. And lastly, you're going to want some scrap paper. So I like to keep my scrap paper in this plastic bin, or at least this is just my small scraps. I keep my larger scraps somewhere else, but I'm going to just grab some of these. And then if you wanted to darken the edges of some of your pieces of book pages, you could do that. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's an option that you have, obviously. If you want to add it to some little blots of paint, some spritzes, whatever you want, you know, those are just some ideas of things that you could do with these. And so I'm going to make sure I have some staples in there. And yeah, and so I'm just going to get started. I'm going to just start grabbing pieces that I think go together. So if I have something like this, I'll probably put it over, and then maybe some either contrasting colors or something that goes along the same color family like that. Maybe a piece of gold paper, this gold glitter. Let's put that there. And let's see. Yeah, so I like that. And then when I'm ready to use them, sometimes I like to add some wording to it. I could probably use like some word stickers, you know, something like this. You could just add a sticker on top with some wording. You could use journaling cards that have wording, like cut the wording out and then put it on there if that's what you know would want to use. So I could cut chill out of here and then, like, you know, add it to this before I add it to my project. So this is one. I hope you were able to make some clusters with me. These are the ones that I just created, and they were a lot of fun to make. I really love making these with my scrap papers, and in just a moment I want to show you how to use these to create some greeting cards. I hope you give these a try. I know I definitely love making these whenever I'm like just watching some TV or waiting for something to bake, or something like that. Whenever I have some free time, I like to use up a lot of my scrap papers with these. So I'm going to be making 3 greeting cards really quick to give you an idea of how easy it is to use these on some cards. These card bases are A2 size. They are 5.5 by 4.25, and I have some embossed mats that are 1/4 inch smaller than the card mats. And I grabbed 3 clusters that matched the bases. And now I'm going to use this card making sticker book, and I'm going to pick out a few sentiments to add to these cards. Now, whenever I use stickers in my projects, I like to put my sticker down onto cardstock first and then cut it out. This way my sticker or my sentiment, the image, whatever's on the sticker, has a little bit of heft and weight to it. And it's not like when you put a sticker down onto something bumpy, then it's going to have that texture underneath, and I don't want to have that texture underneath. So by putting the sticker onto a card, what am I trying to say? By putting my sticker onto a piece of cardstock, and then cutting it out, I have something that's closer to just a die cut or an ephemera piece that you can use on anything, and you can elevate it using foam tape or glue it or use some double-sided tape. Once I've chosen my little sentiments, as you can see, I'm cutting them all down. I tried to pick things that had similar colors to the clusters. The good thing about the clusters is that they're made with pattern paper and they have different colors on them. So you're going to have a lot of choices and options when it comes to adding something on the front. But you definitely want to keep it toned down when it comes to pattern, because you already have so much pattern in the background. You don't really need to add even more pattern to your sentiments. So I'm keeping it pretty simple. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to be taping down my card mats. As you see here, I'm using double-sided tape for this one. And these are just some embossing folders I used that I put my paper into and then ran it through my Cricut. Actually, I should say my Cuttlebug. And now I'm also going to adhere my cluster over that. And here I'm just trying to figure out exactly where my little sentiment is going to go. It's too big for where I want it, so I'm just cutting it down a little bit. And then it's going to be adhered to the card front. This is also good for you to use up something like gift wrap. If you wanted to save or reuse some gift wrap paper, you could cut it into strips similar to this and make clusters from it. And even some like Christmas paper. I know there's like really nice thick Christmas paper that, is sometimes too pretty to throw away. This would be a really good way to use that up and make actual, Christmas cards from it. So this is my second card. Got my card mat down on my card base. Here's my little cluster. I'm going to be adhering that down with double-sided tape. And then I have my little sentiment, which I am going to, I just use a double-sided tape to adhere that down as well. I want to put enough in the center, which is where it's going to go on the cluster, so that it adheres down pretty well. It's going to be like right over the staple, so I want to make sure it's not going to fall off or anything. And there's that one. I think these are super fun, and I love how they come out, and they're all happy looking and colorful, and I love cards like this. And this is my last one. Already got my card mat down. I now have my cluster down, and I'm gonna elevate this sentiment up on a little bit of foam tape to add even more dimension. I wasn't sure if I wanted to cover the staple or if it mattered. It doesn't really matter. And here's one other idea of how you can use these clusters. So I have this little junk journal that I created, and here's one of them. I just put a bunch of them in here. Here's another one underneath this arrow. And here's another one, and these can be used as little tuck spots. I could write a little note on there. I could put a photo on top of it. Here's another. Here's another one. Another one right here on the right page and on the opposite side as well. And here are some more, and then I'll come back when I'm ready to use this journal. This one's also a little tuck spot, and I'll just tuck stuff under there, or I will write some notes on or under or within them. And yeah, you can just have a lot of fun and be really creative with these. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some ideas. I really hope that you tried some of these out. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. See you guys later.